Welcome to Sakshi TV's special immigration show with attorney Dr. Srinivas Kaveti from Kaveti Law Firms. Dr. Srinivas Kaveti is an international lawyer, and Kaveti Law Firms needs no introduction. But if you need any kind of legal advice, please log on to their website. Please tune in to ask your questions. If you're an immigration attorney and would like to join us on our special show, please email us at usa@sakshi.com or call 866-725-7441. Before we begin the show, please note that the information provided on this show is not a legal advice and for general information purposes only. Sakshi TV or its agents are not responsible for any use of the information. Without any further delay, let's welcome Dr. Kaveti Garu onto our show. Hello, Kaveti Garu. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, Nitya. Thank you very much for having me.
It's great to have you back on our show.
Thank you.
Kaveti Garu, before we get on to the topic, can you please introduce about what you and your law firm does to a new audience who are watching the show for the first time?
Yeah, we have offices in US and London and India, Delhi also. We focus on international law. So we take up cases in America, all over the country, and in Europe as well, and in India. So India, we have an office in Delhi, also Hyderabad, Vijayawada, Tirupati, and Warangal, and Karimnagar, where I come from. So anybody, watching this show from anywhere in the world, because of my legal education in India, England, Australia, and America, so we advise clients, and we also assist them in finding local counsels. People are expert in that particular area. We work with a lot of lawyers all over the world, and we've been doing it for 35 years. And here I am in New York. I'm a vice president for a law firm called Ramsey and Associates, and we are in Manhattan. We're open 6 days a week, and when people call us from Sakshi Live and they see, or even on some other YouTube channels, we have our own YouTube channels. When they see, they call us. We provide them a first-time information, free legal advice, and next time when they want to hire us, then we talk of business. But otherwise, we get calls from all over the world in terms of women, students, and H-1B employees, and different types of litigation all over the world. And we've been assisting people from all over the world for 35 years now.
Okay, thank you, Kaveti Garu. So, as we discussed for today's topic, we're going to talk about employment-based immigration visa. So, what exactly is employment-based immigration visa?
First, your viewers need to understand in US, you basically have to work in the United States with the permission from the USCIS. USCIS is the agency, United States, Immigration Service, which is, they have changed the name to Citizenship Services. So if anybody wants to work in United States, they have to get a permission from the USCIS, whether you want to work temporarily or you want to work permanently. People, those who are on the way of getting their green cards, they also get a permission to work. That is, before you get your green card. And students who come to United States also, that is their prerogative, that after their master's or bachelor's, they can work for 1 to 3 years. Depends upon their program. If it is a STEM program, it says 3 years. And, people who come on an H-4 also, husbands are an H-1B, that's also an employment visa, but they also get a work permit to work in this country. So there are many categories of non-immigrant visas, and on the pathway to immigration also, they have work visas. So employment visas is loosely used in terms of local language, that people who want to get a job, when you go to an employer, they ask you, do you have a green card? Do you have a social security number? What sort of a visa are you? How many years of work permit you have? And those type of information the employer takes from you, and they run a check with the immigration by taking a Form I-9. So if an employer is hiring without employment authorization, that is unlawful. So there are administrative penalties to the employer, and there are penalties to the employee as well. So the employment visas are, as I said to you, it can be used, before getting a permanent residency, or sometimes even temporary residence also. And in terms of work visas, there are many types of work visas in America. Mostly, Indians are more popular because they're all doing their bachelor's in computer science, master's in computer science. They only know that they can only work on an H-1B. But there are other professions also come to America. If you see doctors, if you see pharmacists, if you see physical therapists, if you see speech pathologists, if you see teachers, if you see accountants, lawyers, and different types of professions also come to America on an H-1B visa. And the interesting part is people also come to America on an agricultural fields. Um, Unfortunately, India is not a treaty partner, but people from Jamaica, they all come for every year. They come and work in agricultural fields. Sometimes they come and work in the fishing industry and small unskilled jobs also. They come and work in small hotels or even retreat centers and different facilities they work, and they go back after 1 year. So people from all over the world, they come. If you take an example of people coming from Mexico and Canada, they also come on a TN visa because they're neighboring countries. Under the NAFTA treaty, they come and work in this country. And it's also seasoned and unseasoned workers. And if you see Australians, they also come on E classification. They also can come to America. There is no quota. They come for 3 years, which is an E visa. It's a work permit. They come and go. And there is another treaty investor visa called E3. People from Canada, they can come and set up their own businesses in America. They can work. Their family can work. They can study. So there are different types of visas available for people all over the world. And if you see artists, let's say some musician from India or even a singer, they want to come and work in America, they can come and work on O visa, extraordinary ability. And quite often we see, Indians are coming to America for performing a show. A lot of shows are here, dance performances or even singing. If you see in the past, a lot of even today, a lot of Telugu associations, a lot of Punjabi and North Indian associations also they sponsor these teams. They are called P3 visa. When they come to United States, they can come for maximum 3 months. They can also get a social security. They can also get a driving license and they work in America. And they can also get deducted social security taxes, and they can also have a social security number. And a lot of priests they come, churches. We our firm does a lot of R1s for churches and for temples as well. Even Muslim mosques, they also bring priests, and even synagogues, which are Jewish temples, they also bring. Even Buddhist monks also come to America for 1 to 3 years. Sai Baba temple and all of this, they come and work in this country. And when they come, the employer likes, they apply for a permanent residency, they can work in the country. So there are many, many types of visas where individuals can come in the country and work on a temporary basis. And this can also be a permanent basis. For example, if a company like, IT consulting companies like Infosys or Mahindra Tech, they come and set up their company, even Tata Consultancy. They come and they set up their company. They send their CEOs, CFOs, CTOs on an L1A visa. They can come and work for 3 years. If the employer wants, they can also apply for a green card. And a lot of times, our IT consultants, they all come on L1B visa, which is like they can apply for 15, 20 people, and they come here, they work for 1 or 2 years. They get paid salary here, part of it in India. They go back. So, your topic which you have chosen is such a broad one. And in this 15, 20 minutes of interview, we will not be able to cover, but however, this is an overview. I mean, a lot of times, even people who are coming for temporary, I mean, not many people know this. People who come on a business visa, B1 visa, they can also get a job actually. They can also apply for a work authorization if they're working for some diplomats, if they're working for some citizens. I mean, nobody has done it in the past, but there is a provision in immigration law. Even visitors can apply for a job, but if the immigration approves it, they can work. So, a lot of times, if you see a lot of diplomats, they come from India, they come from, if you see, because United Nations is in America, New York, there are diplomats and ambassadors. These are high-ended, professionals. They come from all over the world, 190 countries. The membership there, they bring their own people. For example, you have a family and you have a housemaid, and your children are used to that housemaid. So those diplomats, they also bring their housemaids to come and work in their house in America. So even housemaids come to America to work. And a lot of CEOs of big companies, let's say somebody is posted in India, and let's say a British guy is posted in India for some British petroleum company, and the man is posted now back to America. There's some babysitter who's used to their children, so that British national who is coming to America as a CEO, he can also bring his maid, you know. So that's as a domestic worker. These things, not many people are aware of it, but people always avail of these things for work permits. And, even musicians and even athletes, when they come and work here. And musicians, singers, people with extraordinary ability, magicians also, they come. So different types of professions, they come and work in the United States because it's like a boiling point. They welcome everybody, even translators, people who interpret languages. And they come from all over the world, and they come on a temporary basis. But of course, they have to take the permission from the USCIS. Case to case is different. They have to apply, justify that it is a bona fide job offer, not just to accommodate somebody to bring to America. And they do come and work. I mean, there is another visa. It's amazing. They come AUR paid, means sometimes people who are coming from Europe, they want to come and experience American families. They come and work in their house. They experience for 1 year, au pair, it's called au pair. A lot of Europeans, they come to America. But unfortunately, India or Bangladesh or Pakistan, they are not treaty partners, so they cannot come. But these people, they come every year. It's called J1 visa, inter-exchange. People come and work in restaurants. I mean, not many people know that, oh, can you go to America and work in a restaurant as a waiter or as a chef or a cook? Absolutely, yes. And somebody comes to America to teach yoga, yes, they can come. People want to come and teach some Bharatanatyam, Kathak, yes, they can come as teachers, and some language, and many, many different types of professions they can come. So they do allow people to come and work and then go back, but it has to be bona fide. So, I mean, your area is such a broad area. I could touch a few areas, what all I thought they're very prominent and very popular, and many people also don't know these things.
Kaveti Garu, as you just mentioned, that there are different type of categories in this. Which is the easiest category to get the visa?
Well, for US, to be honest with you, Nitya, there is nothing is easy. There are steps are there, and you have to follow those steps. There is no shortcuts. Everybody is treated equally. If you are a small employer or a big employer, if you're, there are few checks and balances which they see. They don't want criminals to come inside the country, and they don't want somebody who's sick, severely sick, and if they see that you become a public burden. What is the meaning of public charge? That a citizen or American taxpayers are paying money, and these hospitals are being run. They don't want outsider to come and take advantage and take help and take the treatment. Of course, you can go to emergency, but if they see you as a public charge, somebody is coming with a TB, or somebody is coming with AIDS, somebody is coming with some severe, serious illnesses into the country, it's a red herring for them. They said that, okay, you're coming to the country to work and make some money and pay taxes, and you're coming here and coming for a treatment. And treatments are very expensive in America. They're going to see that. I mean, if you have do you have a insurance, all of that. So there is no easy, and everything is black and white. You can check up the jobs online. You can also check up certain jobs in Department of Labor website. It's all open. I mean, if the US employer is trying to solicit an employee, and even for the H-1B also, they put in their websites. And there are so many websites in America they can go and research. Many times we get calls from India and other parts of the world, and there's some agent sitting in India saying, "Oh, there are some there are some company which with the fishing can companies, they're hiring people for fishing. There are jobs in America for agricultural jobs. There are in America. Yes, there are jobs in America, but unfortunately, India is not a treaty partner, or Bangladesh or Pakistan is not a treaty partner. One to understand which country is qualified, you need to understand little public international law and private international law. What is the meaning of a treaty? A treaty or a convention is basically an agreement between two countries. And these treaties or agreements are done on an international level by the United Nations. It's all black and white. You can check it out whether India is a treaty partner with other countries. Unfortunately, for the Hague Conventions, India has only entered into four Hague Conventions, and it has never entered into any conventions in the world because in the past, when Indira Gandhi time we had excellent relationship with Russia. She was very close to Russia, and now when you see that we're not close to Russia, we're close to America now, and India is bridging up relationship with America. I mean, in international framework, the Foreign Affairs Department and Foreign Ministry has to enter into more treaties. A treaty means an agreement to do business or certain laws to be passed and has to be recognized and respected between mutual treaty partners. So unfortunately, India is not in many treaty partners. That's the problem. Because if you see Europe and Australia and Canada and most of these Anglo-Saxon countries, they are all treaty partners with America. And that's the reason if somebody is a doctor in England, they can come and practice in America by just taking few tests. But India doesn't have that recognition treaty with Indian doctors coming to America and practicing. They have to go through the exams. And even Indian lawyers. The Indian government, Indian lawyers, they say, oh, we don't want foreign law firms to come and set up a business. So the Americans would say, when you're not recognizing our professionals, American lawyers coming and setting up a practice in India, so we will not recognize yours. So it's all again international law, which is a private international law. It's a very complex area, but for your viewers, not every job we can pick it up in America. I mean, mostly America, they need IT professionals because India produces largest IT computer professionals, and that's the reason they're very open. That's one of the biggest thing we can apply in America. Second thing is Indian doctors are very popular. Indian physical therapists are very popular. Speech pathologists are very popular. Indian teachers are very popular, and they can apply. And recently they came up a lot of American schools. They're looking for Indian teachers, for physics teacher, science teacher, mathematics teacher. And it's very interesting. They can come and work in America on a J1 visa or even H1B visa. And not many people know that. And even pharmacists and physical therapists and medical technologists and even pharmacy regulatory authorities are there. CRAs, clinical research associates. So there are heaps of jobs available in America, but one has to do some research and come. So, of course, there are some licensed professionals. If you're a doctor or a lawyer or a chartered accountant, they expect you to come and take a license here. If you're a teacher in India, mathematics teacher, of course you can come and teach in America because math is same in India and America all over the world. But you have to come and take a local license. You have to take some English tests. You have to take some local license. If you do that, you're up and running. A lot of teachers are also coming to America on H1 and J1. So there are many, many professions. If you see, even nurses, they're coming. A lot of nurses. They're going to England. They're coming to America. What happened recently during the COVID time? A lot of medical doctors and nurses, they died. Medical professions. So there's a great need of medical professions all over the world. So America is no exception to it. Europe is no exception to it. London is no exception to it. And they can apply. So they have to go through the process, and online is everything is there. But unfortunately, what is happening in India, an uneducated guy will tell, saying that I can send you to America on a work permit. They're not even educated. They're not even qualified. But these people, they will give the money, they burn their fingers, and later on they'll approach to lawyers like us, and we tell them, how can you believe that? So they have to do their own due diligence. But if somebody wants to migrate, they can migrate legally, but they have to do some research. So research is the key, Nitya. So nothing is free and easy. There are steps involved, like education evaluation, recognition of your degrees, recognition of your work. But most of the times, IT professionals have a clear way, because IT programming in America or India everywhere is same, because C++ is C++ anywhere in the world. So they come. But to get a job, they have to get their evaluation done. The company has to get a Department of Labor permission. They have to be given prevailing wage, and the H1 has to be approved. The consulate has to give a visa, and they can come. So that is very popular for us, H1B. So, there are different types of profession. When I came to America 24 years ago, a lot of people asked me, how come you went as a lawyer? But we had to come and study law, take the bar exam, this whole 9 yards. But it's doable. A lot of chartered accountants also, in the past, I brought some people with MCOM guys. They came to America with an MCOM as an accountant. They came and became chartered accountants in America. It's called Certified Public Accounting Exam. It's doable. BCom guys came. I've helped some kids. They became chartered accountants. So when I tell these boys who are in India, chartered accountants, they get amazed. I say, oh, wow, yes, we can come. Like cost accountants, ICWA, a lot of professions they can come, but they have to do some research. Research is the key.
So, what is the difference between employment visa and work visa, Kaveti garu?
Employment visa means you are working specifically for one employer, like H1B, like L1A, L1B. Employment visa is, work visa is basically you can pick up work from anybody. You understand what I mean? Let's say if you're an OPT guy, occupational, you get an OPT EAD, you can work for any employer. There is no employer specific. If you're an H1B, you're an employer specific. If you're in an L1, you're an employer specific. If you're coming on a P3, you're an employer specific. You're coming on an R1 visa, religious visa, it's an employer specific. So people who have a work visa means you can basically pick up work from anybody. You can do a couple of jobs. You can do anything. That's called work visa. That's the difference, basically. But people get confused between these two. It's just only a nomenclature different.
How can one apply for the employment-based immigration visa, Kaveti garu?
Well, I mean, if you're looking for an H1B, everybody's aware of the process. From tomorrow, registrations are going to start, and they see whether after registration they'll be picked up in the lottery. And there are some nonprofits or also there nonprofit companies. They can hire people anywhere around the year. You have a master's quota, regular quota. L1A visa, no quota. Around the year they can do. And R1 visa, TN visa, no quota required. And O visa, extraordinary ability, no quota required. So there are certain, restrictions for certain types of visas. And for coming to America, let's say you're an extraordinary ability guy. Let's say you're a researcher, and you're a postdoctorate. You've done some, phenomenal work in research in, let's say, some severe, like diseases like COVID or even cancer. You can come to America on an extraordinary ability. You can apply on your own. You can come on your own. On EB1 category or even extraordinary national interest waiver category. So there are some categories you can come. If you're an athlete, you can come. If you're an extraordinary performer, you can come. There are even fashion models, they can come to America. We have done, our firm has done some visas for them. Fashion models from all over the country, all over the world, they come to America. America is open because fashion magazines, they're open for giving them an opportunity. And if you see Broadway shows, if you see so many shows, they come, Africans, they come, Middle Easterners, they come and perform, magicians, they come to America. Even if you see Chinese companies, they come and perform. So it's around the year. So there should be sometimes there should be an employer. Sometimes they don't need an employer. They can self-petition. So it depends upon each category. They should get in touch with an immigration attorney and they will have an idea what will be the documentary requirement, what will be the fees, what will be the processing time, and whether they'll be qualified or not. And there are many lawyers who does free assessments in the country in US.
What is the time limit for the employment-based visa?
Typically, if let's say if you're filing for an H-1B, the immigration website, they say 60 to 90 days. If you're filing a premium processing, 45 days. You know, if you say this is they're all government offices. I mean, there is definitely going to be a red tapeism and holidays looking at. It is like every government office. Federal offices are running with less personnel after COVID, and even the consulates are having less staff. Depends. And, again, depends upon the National Visa Center, depends upon, again, consulate has its own processing times. When you see their website, they will say typically 6 to 8 months time or 6 months time. It is never going to happen. Sometimes it happens. I mean, and don't get me wrong. And we also see many times in our office, we send two H1s in two different envelopes on the same day. One gets approved in 2 months, other gets approved in 6 months. And into the same processing center and the same employer, but two different employees. And the clients come back and say, sir, you have sent packages on the same day, same company, same processing center. How come this is taking too long? Again, it depends upon the caseworker who is handling. See what happens when the package goes to these immigration centers. There is one big room. So that room is handled by independent contractors. They open the package and they give it to the supervisor. What the supervisor does, he gives the files to at least 4 or 10 caseworkers. So let's say one caseworker is very efficient, another caseworker is very lazy. What are you going to do? So your package might have gone to one caseworker who is very vibrant and he wants to do the job in 24 hours. The other caseworker is lazy. He might take 2 months time. So it again depends upon the luck. And again, coming back to the consulates, when it is approved and sent back to the different consulates in India or anywhere in the world, again, same thing applies. Some consulates are very fast in their processing. Some are slow, depends upon their load of work, depends upon their, even after COVID, many consulates have closed. And one country is handling 3 to 4 countries a load of work. If you see Africa, if you see Afghanistan, if you see Syria, there are many countries, even in Russia, many countries, they've closed the embassies. So that's another factor. So these are all real problems. And, people always come back to us and say, sir, can you talk to them? Can you make any request to them? The answer is no. Everybody has the same phone number. Everybody has the same email address. There is no prerogative being a law firm or an individual or an employer. Yes, you can make a phone call and then ask to raise a ticket. And you can, if there's an extraordinary circumstances, sometimes the companies need some employee ASAP because they have entered into an agreement. So they can put a request. That's called, there's a different types of tickets they can raise, like tier 1 ticket, tier 2 ticket. In that way, they can expedite.
Sorry, Kaveti garu, to interrupt in between, but we're running out of time. So let's continue this in our next session, as it's a very big topic for everyone. Thank you, Kaveti garu, for joining us on our show. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. You're watching Sakshi TV with me, Nitya.
Thank you, Nitya. See you next show.
Welcome to Sakshi TV's special immigration show with attorney